Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another NerdTube review. Today we are talking about Agatha All Along versus the Penguin. I am joined by a gaggle of nerd alum here. Zam, GG, Ginger Greek, G, Gary, and Vizaxon, Viz. How you guys doing?
Yay.
So today, what we're going to be doing is we're not doing like this big, extensive review of everything. We're just going to be talking about both shows, no holds barred, back and forth. It's kind of like it's a rare instance where we've got a Marvel show and a DC show starting the same week, and so that's why I was like, ooh, this is too good to pass up. So I guess I'll just start off by saying with Agatha, like just overall thoughts on both of them. With Agatha, I don't want to say it's bad. Like the first like 3/4 of the first episode was stupid, I thought, and it could have been wrapped up in 10-15 minutes. And then like the last bit was okay, and then the second episode was pretty good. It was okay. Like it was a little bit different. They did definitely do a little bit of the mystical realm stuff, and it was nice to see Agatha kind of go balls to the wall again. Penguin, holy shit, that first episode, not only was it a long episode, but it was fantastic in my opinion. So very, very good. So Zam, what are your overall thoughts?
Well, we are just full spoilers ahead, yeah?
Yeah,
Like
full spoilers.
like, first start, Catherine Hahn, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, yeah. I love watching her do her thing. She's so good. She's very versatile as an actress. You know, she's just brilliant to watch. And she's probably the only thing which is making me want to watch this show is her. But in the first episode, we had that dead body, and then it just like, okay, well, let's fuck all that, fuck all this True Detective shit, which we're kind of going down, and we're just gonna go with the second episode where we're gonna get a team together, to follow the yellow brick road to fucking getting her powers back. Like everything felt discarded from the first fucking episode, which was a bit weird. And you know those Disney moments with the singing and shit like that, which made me roll my eyes. But Penguin, wow, Penguin! Oh my god, I still forget that this is Colin Farrell in a fucking suit and makeup and shit. It's hard to you forget that you think this is an actual dude. Is that the prosthetics is so fucking amazing? What a fucking! I can't wait for episode 2 already. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Ginger Greek, I know that you said you had not watched Agatha, but what are your thoughts on Penguin overall?
Yeah, I mean, Agatha there's nothing going for me there, so I'm just skipping it. The Penguin is phenomenal. Like, I think it's one of the best first episodes to a show ever. It didn't go over the top. It knew what it was doing. It's just trying to be as lowbrow as your standard gangster film, your standard gangster show, and I thought it did a great job. Colin Farrell is doing to the role of Penguin what Heath Ledger did to Joker. In my opinion, he's really gonna be. He's already stamped his mark on it, and I'm hooked, and I want more.
All right, Viz, what did you think of both?
Agatha fits in the same part of my head as movies that I know are bad, but I still enjoy watching them. It, it's just like the whole time I was watching, I'm just like, I'm enjoying this, but this is stupid. I think the thing that's probably going to keep me watching that show is the fact that the actress that plays Kitty Foreman on that 70s show is there. And I'm like, oh my God, Kitty Foreman is now part of the Marvel universe. The Penguin, oh my God, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's like I love all the groundwork that was laid out for now we're gonna potentially have like this gang war, and how the Penguin just managed to very carefully orchestrate all of it, and it's just like, and as far as the crime bosses are concerned, it's just like, you're just a hired goon that does our bidding, and he just like, and he's sitting in the back like, oh really? I'm like, oh my God. I want to see how this starts to come together. I really want to see more of that.
And Gary.
Agatha, I thought was rubbish, because like the first bit of it, the first episode was like True Detective, or a lot of people say it's like this show that I've never seen called Mayor of Easttown, or what it is, or with Kate Winslet in it. It was a lot like that. It was a lot like being a gritty detective show, and then all of a sudden, like 10 minutes in, we get Catherine Hahn in the nude, and I was like, what? And then we had the chanting, and I had acolyte flashbacks to the Power of Many Flames scene, so that was bad. And then the Penguin was just like phenomenally good, really good. Like everything in that episode is what I wanted it to be. I mean, like as good as Colin Farrell is, Christine Milioti, flaming hell, she's fucking terrifying as that plays as Sophia. I mean, like when she's introduced and like she's talking, like you shouldn't be terrified because she's like this like very like dainty looking woman, but she's fucking terrifying and like just phenomenal stuff. And if it's this sort of tone going forward, I'm in because I love it. You know, it's really really good.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, Penguin wins out on the. Even Agatha had 2 episodes, and they still came nowhere close to what Penguin was in that first episode. You know, the one thing I do want to address with the whole Agatha thing is, you know, they did it again. Like they did it again, where the director or the actors come out and say, "Oh, this is going to be a gay explosion," and it's like, listen, I am okay with characters being gay. I am okay with Agatha being bisexual in this show. I'm okay. I don't care. That's not what I care about. It's when you sit there and you go out on social media and you throw it in other people's faces and you're like, oh, if you don't like this is going to be a gay explosion. It's like, guys, like, let's let this product speak for itself. Let it be gay and speak for itself. Like, we don't have to throw it in people's faces that it is. And that's the problem with it. Like, it's not even the drama in the show. It's the drama outside these shows. They did it with The Acolyte. They're doing it now with Agatha. It's like they almost want this product to fail. You know what I mean? And honestly, for me, I don't think Agatha was terrible. Like, yes, the first quarter or the first, like, 3/4 of the first episode was like a True Detective thing. And Han with her like Jersey-ish accent, like, not that it was bad, but I'm just like, what are we doing here? Like, most of that episode, I was sitting there saying, what are we doing here?
How did she become
I
a
did
cop?
read online.
How did she become a cop? You know, like that was a weird.
Exactly. It makes no sense. The only thing that I can see is that I read somewhere that the director wanted the first episode to be like a continuation of WandaVision, so that's why it was kind of True Detective-y. So, like, you know, like, because at the end of WandaVision, it was kind of more like it wasn't a 90s sitcom. It was a kind of like a you know, mid 2000s. Yeah. And so, like, they were kind of playing on the whole like True Detective stuff that's out now. I still think that's not a good transition point from WandaVision to this. I didn't mind a lot of the other stuff. I didn't think it was bad, but it's just like I'm already exhausted from the drama online from it.
Look, for me, you don't have to promote a show by saying it's going to be gay. As you said earlier, if it's got gay stuff in it, whatever, it's going to be in it, and that should be just part of whatever the aesthetics of the show is. You got to promote it for what it is, and unfortunately, it reeks of fucking Disney at times, and Disney is its own worst enemy because of who it is, and then it puts its fucking stamp on a show like this, and it just like I said, that Yellow Brick Road scene, I really thought they were gonna fucking start singing that. You know, look like the fucking the Emerald Castles in the fucking background, and like, my God, like, Disney, mate, you just do not know how to do something totally opposite to who you are as a show, you know, as a company. And whilst the Penguin, my God, you know, comic book series as well, no fan service whatsoever in that first episode, not an ounce of it. You know, I loved it. I fucking loved it. It was brilliant. It was a really great character study for of Oswald Cobblepot in that first episode. It was phenomenal. You know, like both these shows, night and day. It really is. I don't mind Agatha, but after comparing it to the Penguin, you know, it
no
really
contest.
Agatha is full of faults.
Ginger, you want to add? I mean, as I said, I know you haven't seen. Oh, go ahead.
Gary, you had your hand up?
Oh, sorry. I missed that.
You go first if you want, GT. But I was just to say, like, I know we disagree about this because I'm all for representation, but a good story will make that just obsolete. Like, I think we talk about like X-Men '97 and stuff like that, but like, if it's just a good story, people don't care. And the thing is that what people don't care if it's a gay explosion or whatever. Like, just make it a good story. Don't make it about like, oh, gay people. These people have to be gay. It's like, it doesn't matter if they happens to be gay and it's a good story. People won't care. Like, and the thing is that the Penguin, right? He's a bit of a player. He's a bit of a ladies' man on the side. But do you know what? That wasn't the main part of the story. That's just told to us because it's told what kind of person Oswald Cottlepot is. Like, and if that's who, let's say, for example, if that's who Agatha is, like she's lesbian or bi or whatever, that can be just told in the story itself, as long as you make the story good.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
go on.
so sorry. With regards to the thing, like obviously it was the reporter kind of asked the question, and Audrey Plaza gave that response. So it wasn't even like it's the gayest show ever. It's like, yeah, you know, it's what I signed up for, kind of thing. But the thing is, it's not the issue of that. It's the issue of, you know, Hollywood being so void of creativity that saying that alone means that, oh, great, so that's just going to be their character. That's where you automatically go because they've handled it so badly. And when it should be basically, I mean, look, it's a show about witches, so there should be two things that should be given. You're either going to have a lesbian backstory or lesbian relationships and all that, and two, it is a direct commentary on the patriarchy in terms of its history and where it was, and you could have tackled that in a great way. But to come out with a messaging like that, you've already put people out there to kind of scour it and be like, look at this, it's, you know, this and that, and it's just like, well, if you had a good story, nobody will quit. I mean, Penguin, for fuck's sake, he's a cripple in there, and he has a black guy as his sidekick who has a stammer. All right, now that is in itself, it's a form of representation, but what they do about it, they don't talk about it. They just like it in its messaging. It's just like, look, doesn't matter what you are, you can be fucking amazing no matter what your limitations are. And what it does so well is it just focuses on, this is a story of how the Penguin rises up the ranks. We go through the first episode, gives you a little backstory on him, bit about his mother, all that. You see the family life, you see all this kind of stuff, and it plays chess beautifully, how he manipulates the bosses and all this kind of stuff. And you're just like, this is great storytelling. This is, you just keep it simple. And like Zam said, no fan service. You don't need fan service. Andor didn't do fan service because it didn't need to. But at the end, when you have shows like Acolyte, which are absolute hot garbage, you need Yoda in there. You need what's his name? Plagueis the Wise in there. You need that bloody fan service in there because it's a talking point that people are going to talk about, because everything else just is crap. And that's pretty much it. What I'm trying to say is, it's like, you know, the Penguin. And the thing is, for me personally, I can't speak for anyone else, I want more from that world. I want more shows, more spin-offs from it because of what it's doing. I don't necessarily need to see the whole bloody rogues gallery. Like, I'll be happy to never see the Joker pop up in this universe because I'm like tired of the bloody Joker, and he's got his own film coming out, or it's out already. Okay, so we don't need to see more Joker. Reverting back to the Joker is a cop-out for me. But what you can do is you can look at the masses of rogue gallery that Batman has. You can also, I would love to see a spin-off where we eventually get to the Court of Owls more than anything. That's like my dream in that universe, to have the Court of Owls in there. So that's where I am. Zam.
You're
Mark,
muted.
no, I just realized I forgot what I was about to say. I had it and then I lost it. Sorry.
Viz, Viz, any additions to like the online discourse and like anything, you know, just like additionally, generally?
Honestly, I really haven't been paying attention to any of like the online discourse because I
God
didn't
bless you.
because I didn't want to deal with any spoilers or anything. I knew that both shows were coming out. I hadn't paid attention to when, so it was a delightful surprise last night to find out that both were out. And I binged both of them. But yeah, I haven't paid attention. It's just like I don't spend much time on social media looking at stuff, but it's like, yeah, I did notice that, it's like I noticed the overhead, basically the lesbian overtones in Agatha, and I'm just like, okay, I get it. You have a coven of witches, or potential coven of witches, and it's a whole bunch of ladies coming together. So at least two of them are going to have some tension there. But at the same time, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like this feels shoehorned in there.
Yeah. So we got a comment from YArc9. They're tackling the supernatural with Agatha. You can do supernatural stuff with plenty of other characters besides Agatha. I don't mind them doing it with Agatha. Kathryn Hahn is. I love having Kathryn Hahn on my screen.
Kathryn Hahn's phenomenal.
Exactly. Like it's not the fact of Agatha's the problem. It's the fact of, as we've all been saying, it's Disney-fying it too. And I mean, the Agatha show does kind of veer a little bit, in my opinion. It veers a little bit from the Disney regimen currently. I really don't think we're going to get much change though from the MCU until Daredevil Born Again, because that was in pre-production when Kevin Feige started the massive course correction. So I figured there was going to be a lot of this old Disney-fied Marvel in there. I think Daredevil Born Again might be the next, might be a where we actually start to see the writing of the ship. With the Penguin, this is what I wanted from Gotham, like the show Gotham. This is what I wanted.
That's what I was going to say. I'm so happy you mentioned that. I'm so sorry for cutting you off, Cheeto. That was what was on my mind when I first saw Gotham, and it would be the Batman show about Batman, and you saw Penguin at the beginning and stuff like that as well, and it was quite focused on that version of Penguin. It was just so shit. This Fish Mahoney character and all that. Gave up after 3 episodes. I only watched the very last episode just to see Batman come out on the final episode of the season, and by that time Riddler had already been established. Penguin was now a kingpin, but in that first episode you also had Riddler in there working for the police, doing stupid little riddles just to show that he's the Riddler. You had fucking young Poison Ivy. They threw so much fan service in that first episode. It was a bloody joke, whilst the Penguin just wanted to focus on the Penguin and his new rise to power after killing
and the Falcones and the Maronis, and that's what. And there were those elements in Gotham, but this is what I wanted. I didn't want the Falcones and the Maronis to be an afterthought. I wanted them to be neck deep in it, and that's what they're doing with this show. I kind of hope Batman does it. I mean, I guess you can have them talk about Batman because obviously he's in the world currently, but I don't really want him to show up and interrogate the Penguin or anything. I don't want that. I want this chess game of Penguin where he's kind of moving these pieces on the chessboard. And maybe you hear about, Batman broke up.
Sorry, Gary, I'm going to mute you because I got echo from your mic.
From who?
It's from Gary.
Oh.
So when you want to speak, just, unmute and talk.
But maybe have some mentions of Batman. But yeah, I know that I'm very glad. That's why I'm very happy about this first episode. Fun fact, I had not seen the Batman until literally the weekend before this show came out because I just never got around to it. And I'm going to make Gary mad here, and I've said this before, I think the Batman has done a better job with Batman and the Rogues Gallery than the Dark Knight trilogy did in 3 movies. I'm sorry, maybe the Joker for kind of overshadowed.
That's it. That's all they got right in that film was the Joker.
Yeah,
in that trilogy, Scarecrow was wasted. Not Penguin. Bane was, you couldn't understand what the fuck.
Oh god, yeah, Bane was horrible.
No, but it was really good to be in the Batman world where he's not having to deal with a character every new movie, like who has an origin and all of that. They're already established in that world, and I like that. I like that a lot. That was a different take on it than having one or two villains come in every movie, but have them all there was a better take. I like
not
it.
all of them, but I mean the established
a lot of them.
ones. Yeah,
well, the
like,
established one, and there could be more, but we just might not have seen them. They still could be established. So, who knows?
all right, I know, Gary. I know you're gagging to get in here. Come on, tell me how I'm wrong, baby. Tell me how I'm wrong.
No, it's all right. You're entitled to your opinion. But I was going to say though, like from this show had one of the best beginnings. I'm talking about the Penguin. Sorry, that had one of the best beginnings I've seen to a show in quite some time. Just like the way that he goes into that iceberg lounge to get those flaming documents and those pieces of jewelry, and he's confronted by Carmine's son. Was it Alfonso? What his name was? And he's like, and this guy starts talking shit to him and stuff like that, and he just brings out the gun and goes bang, 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 and then I was also like, and then obviously he starts laughing and he goes, oh, and he just cuts around. It's just like that is how you start a show, just like that's
you put him in the shit straight away. That was so good.
Yeah, I know that was great. I honestly was shocked. Like I figured the kid was gonna. Which Falcone was that? That was
Alfonso.
The son, Alfonso.
Alfonso. That's an Al.
Alberto.
Or Alberto, yeah. I didn't think he'd die right away like that. I thought that he would like antagonize Penguin for like at least the entire first episode and then die at the end. But I'm like, I love it that they threw him right in it, right at the beginning. I'm like, I love it. I'm in. I'm 100% in.
And you're gonna see, they're gonna have more probably like backstory on and flashbacks of the Falcones and Marone, because we know. Obviously, when you're looking at pictures of Falcone in the show, they had to recast John Turturro's character because of scheduling conflicts, and it's Mark Strong that they have playing Falcone, which is great casting for me. Like, so
he's played an American gangster before.
Yeah, and he's a brilliant actor. He's just so menacing when he wants to be.
He also played the villain in Shazam. And
Sinestro
and Green Lantern. He's in the best films ever.
Yeah. Well, this should be his redemption now. But that's what I want. I want the backstories. I've always said with Batman, I've always been more fascinated by the Maronis and the Falcones more than I have about the Rogues Gallery, because we've done the Rogues Gallery to death. It's been done to death, but we haven't done enough about the beginnings in terms of the gangsters and their families. Organized crime stuff. And look, I'm a sucker for a good mafia show or a mafia flick, even though I've never watched The Sopranos. But again, I never got into it because I was doing stuff and all of that. But you're right there, Cap. Anyway. But yeah, this is what we're getting. This is what I want. This is what Gotham should have been, and it shit the beds. It really shit the beds. I did like the first season, but it had a lot of problems, but it never corrected it. It just doubled down on those issues, and after that, I was just like, okay, that's it. This show is just a pantomime, and it's ridiculous. But hopefully, with this one, yeah, even if they have to plant a lot of seeds in there, that eventually, as long as everything eventually pays off, great.
I mean, unlike Gotham, in this universe, Batman does exist, and you might, who knows? I mean, we don't need Robert Pattinson back, we just need, if they do a moment where we see Batman, it could be just somebody, it could be from the perspective of the villains or from Penguin, not from Batman's perspective, so it could just be a guy in a suit and all of that. It was fantastic. And once again, Colin Farrell, if he does not at least get nominated for an Emmy, it'll be a tragedy. Honestly, he might get
nominated for Golden Glasses. You never know.
Definitely.
You never know. Actually, stay tuned to find out. What was I going to say now? Also, but I have to only disagree slightly with Cheeto in terms of if they do put Batman in this, it's fine. It makes sense if he does show up here and there. I don't expect them to do it, but at least in this universe, it won't feel like it's shoehorned in. It just feels like, we know how active he is in the streets, especially after everything that's happened and everything's been thrown into chaos. So what I don't want to see is like, nuggets of Robin and Batgirl, and then fucking, all this
Oh,
kind
no,
of.
don't do that. No.
I
Don't do
actually
that.
thought
Start bouncing all of that.
at one point that kid who robbed his car, I thought, don't let that be Tim Drake or anything shit like that. Please don't let that be Tim Drake or something along those lines. And I really thought that could be the case, and thank God it wasn't. It was just I'm not sure if this character this Victor guy who he plays is somebody who does exist.
Character for us. A bit like Tulsa King, where it's like the fish out of water character for everyone else.
Yeah.
So you get to see the kind of introduced into the world. They always do that every show. It's an annoying trope.
And I'm really happy that outside of sci-fi, the gangster genre is my favorite genre. I've done a lot of gangster reviews and stuff like that for this channel, and I'm so fucking happy that now we can do one together as a channel, because I think this is going to be a fantastic ride, and I'm looking forward to continuing it.
Yeah,
I mean, I understand what part.
Yeah, sorry, Gary, go on.
I was going to say, I understand what you mean, but I thought it worked because the guy actually turned out to be useful. Like the fact that when Sophia had him in that greenhouse thing, and she basically he made up that card to implicate the Maroney family. I mean that showed you that it wasn't just a typical, oh, we're just going to have a fish out of water. It's like this kid is actually useful, and the Penguin has good insight into people's character. I mean, I thought that was really well done.
Well, and that's a part of good representation, where you write a character that actually they have their flaws, but they have their pluses too. And it's like, that is how you do good representation. You do a good character, and you just have those moments where it's like, you're like, okay, this kid's actually got it in him, but he didn't even do what Penguin told him to do. Because even at the end they were talking, he's like, oh, I told you to, I thought it'd be more dramatic with the, with the head and the pinky or whatever. And he's like, nah, he's like, no, I got it. Then I got to the trachea, and then I was thinking about going to the back and the spine. And I'm like, this is so neurotic, like that. It makes sense, and it's good representation, in my opinion. So that's why I was like, I love the fact that they did that, and they didn't spell it out for you. They let you love this character without basically beating you over the head with it.
Actually,
sorry, just quickly. The one good thing they did with this trope was they didn't overload it with exposition, which is the thing where they'd be sitting there and just explain everything to the point where you're just like, God damn it, stop treating me like a fucking moron. But this one was just like, this is a situation, you're in the shit now, and regardless of the fish out of water aspect of it, they kept the conversations subtle, small, and to the point. No major exposition. And I thought, this time it's an acceptable trope. Could still do without it, but it works fine here.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say pretty much the same thing regarding how the whole time Penguin was being treated like James Bond in Daniel Craig James Bond in Casino Royale. I was thinking to myself, how's he going to get out of this situation? He has to get out of this situation. This show's about him, and this is the first fucking episode. And then when you obviously saw the car crashing into the Falcone's place, and the kid losing his the Alberto losing his finger and payback, it lets you figure out for yourself what happened. And I love that. He's not explaining it to you. You figuring it out, and I love that about that. But I was able to figure out straight away that the kid did that, and now the Falcones are going to think the Salvatore's are coming after them, and the ring. They mentioned the ring earlier. It's just genius writing to make you understand what the fuck's going on, and I love it.
My only issue, just really quick to comment from Y Arc 9. The name Oz is cool. I don't particularly like the fact I didn't mind them calling him Oz, but apparently they changed his name to Oz Cobb for this series.
What?
And I'm like, because I saw the special at the end where they talked about it. And I'm like, it doesn't break it for me, but I'm like, really? Like, why? But it doesn't matter. Like, it.
Is it because they did it because Cobblepot doesn't sound Italian enough? But he's not Jewish in this.
Well, and maybe that's it. As I said,
He's Irish.
Is he Irish in this?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Because his accent's very New Jersey. It's very
I'm pretty sure his mum said something about him being Jewish.
Yeah, I was about to say. I thought there was something about
Yeah,
Jewism in
I
there,
think
but
he's Jewish.
But he's still got that, that New Yorkie type of gang mafioso type of accent, which
Yeah, I mean, not
anybody
all,
could have from that region.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
There
As I
were
said,
plenty
the
of
name.
Jews and Irish that were in the mafia as well.
Yeah, and I mean, as I said, the name change didn't break it for me, but I was just kind of like, really, like, okay, I guess. Like, it didn't, as I said. Now I forgot what my original point was going to be, though. Viz, do you have any favorite points that stuck out to you? Like, I mean,
there was the whole, you already touched on it, the whole discussion where the penguin was just like, I thought we agreed that, just setting the head and the finger would be, more dramatic. He's like, yeah, the whole, well, first I thought if I cut from the front, but then I hit the trachea and then the spine, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, it's just like, because there's enough shows out there that talk about, like person chopping up their first body and being squeamish about it. So it's like they touched on that, and this kid he's just been stealing rims up to this point. But the one that the two scenes that stuck out to me just as far as just small dialogue was after that Oz had Vic go get slushies from that place that they were talking about earlier, and he's all, the penguin was all nostalgic for it, this shop called Buddy's, it's like, do they still have the slushies there? And it's like, you ever mix the flavors? And and then he asked Vic, is like, when you got it, did you mix the flavors? Like, yeah, I mixed the flavors. So they're sitting there enjoying their slushies. I'm like, they just mangled a corpse. But the scene that I actually really liked was they were about to dispose of Alberto's body, and he's just like, hey, look over there. That's a really pretty sunrise. And Vic knows that he's, it's like the penguin's brazenly holding a crowbar. And he's just like, dude, you don't have to do this, and Vic talks the penguin out of like murdering him outright. And, so he goes back and he just sits down on this cement block. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, I really am going to enjoy the sunrise. I'm like, oh my God, he's just sitting there enjoying a sunrise. Like, okay, do what you need to do with the body.
Yeah.
I love the part where he's like, he has the body up on his shoulder and he just throws it. He's like getting ready to walk down the stairs, and he's like,
why?
I mean, what, is he gonna get more dead? Like, like
I had a feeling he was gonna
just hear the thumbs, just like
go ahead, Gary.
I was gonna say, like, the like, I love the bit when he's in that place with those two mob bosses, and then we see Sophia like coming from the distance. We're like, who the bloody hell is this? And they're like, and he turns around and says, you look good. And says, I thought you were in. No, I'm rehabilitated. I was like, okay, what the hell's this about? And it's just like, and the thing is that actress is actually known for like doing comedies and stuff like that, and it's just like, she's like she's like really menacing. And it's just like the way that Oswald's like talking to her and stuff like that, and like their entire flaming dialogue when they're having dinner and when they're outside and stuff like that, it's just like totally terrifying. And like she's blurred as well. I mean, like, I reckon that she's gonna be like the shadow over his like shoulder or something like that. She's gonna be like the one who's kind of like onto him, but kind of can't prove it, if you know what I mean.
Well, she was already onto him straight away. I think that's what I liked as well, is like they didn't, he wasn't able to fob her off like you would say, oh, I talked my way out of this. She's like, no, listen, you guys had talked about certain things that only me and my brother know about, and he's missing. And then obviously, the purple again, great storytelling. Purple Maserati shooting outside the Iceberg Lounge. You go and ask people around. They obviously were able to tell you they caught one of the kids that kind of was trying to steal the tires and all this kind of shit. And I just thought that's brilliant. They didn't kind of draw it out to where he's constantly playing this cat and mouse thing. They know straight away, but then at the end is where he's like, bang, that's where he throws them with the car and the pinky missing, and the fact that he gave Maroney the ring as well, and Maroney won't cooperate at all with the
The Falcones.
Yeah. At all. So, or that could play into it later. There's just so much.
That's what I was going to say.
I love it.
I feel like that's going to play into it later because all it takes is a mention of Maroni being like to Falcone being like, you know, you realize Oz gave me the ring, right? Like, and I mean, they could assume he's lying, but like, I feel like, and that's a part of the good storytelling is that I see it kind of coming where it's going to be like someone's going to say something and then Oz is going to get thrown under the bus and it's going to throw more tension onto, because I mean, he is literally flying on the seat of his pants. It's not going to be a perfect, like, you know, plan. It's not like it's like, you know, the Riddler who's got everything planned out down to the little nuance. Like he is flying by the seat of his pants. Shit's going to hit the fan several times before this season is over, you know, for him.
He's gonna basically hope that enough of these family members from either party are gonna take each other out, and so he can pick up the pieces and roll, which is how I think things are gonna go. But he did offer his services to the Salvatoris, so they might not. But yeah, you're right. There is a moment where they will let it slip that that Oz gave him the ring, which means.
But by then it might be too late anyway. They're going to be neck deep in a war.
And by the way, you knew the sister character whose name I've forgotten, but I'll remember it as we go along.
Sophia.
Sophia.
It's like Sophia or Sophia. I can't remember which one.
The way she was eating her food,
I know.
like Jesus Christ. Yeah, that kind of showed you that she was absolutely nuts. And
that was your that was your second hint. Your first hint was, you know, just looking at her, like the way, like I don't know, that actress can like portray like those crazy eyes. You know what I mean?
She's out of Arkham. Like, you out of Arkham? Yes, you know, good behavior.
I don't. How many episodes are in this? Is it 10 or is it 8? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I haven't.
I just hope that this show is not riddled with flashbacks. You know what I mean? Like, I know
flashbacks.
Well, there's this season on the Penguin was kind of after that, and it did show like there was definitely scenes of Sophia and Arkham. There was definitely scenes of young Cobblepot or Oz. There, you know, so there's going to be flashbacks, and I'm fine with some like little flashbacks that are story oriented. I just don't want like it to be like all like Arrow, you know, where you've got like whole flashbacks and stuff like that. So
the Penguin's name was changed from Cobblepot to Cobb. William Cobb was the Talon of the Court of Owls and the great-grandfather of Dick Grayson. Coincidence?
Ooh, I did not know that.
In Oz's records, there's a photo of the founders label HH. Brilliant. So they're going to do Court of Owls then.
I didn't want to say it earlier, but I mean, they've talked about possibly doing Court of Owls in the Batman too. So I don't know if it's so
not in the Batman 2 though. I want nuggets of it in Batman 2, but not the whole shebang.
I think that's what they're going for though.
But they're gonna if they're gonna do several seasons of this show, which I hope they do, then whatever we get in Penguin has to intertwine with Batman 2, regardless, to some degree. The same way we had the aftermath of the flooding from the first Batman that affected Gotham. You know, that was mentioned very briefly at the beginning of the episode. You know, there has to be something that maybe from this series goes into Batman 2, and then something from Batman 2 that goes on to the next season of the Penguin series.
Yeah, but I don't want the Batman, like I don't want Matt Reeves' Batman universe to be riddled, kind of like the MCU is now riddled with shows. Like I like the fact that the Penguin is a natural progression from the Batman into this series. Like, you know, I don't want it to feel like, oh, we got to do a season 2 for the sake of doing a season 2. Like if after the Batman 2, we have it naturally progresses into another season of Penguin, great. If it naturally progresses into something else, which honestly, I don't know what it would be. Like, you know, out of Batman's Rogue Gallery, but
my only rebuttal is that unlike the MCU, which is I know you're comparing this to regarding everything being connected. This is in one city of Gotham, so it's a little bit more closer to home regarding the after effects and the aftershocks of what's happening, and how people are affected by it. So that's the only thing I can think of. Do you think we'll get Batman in this, by the way?
Possibly.
I think we'll see nuggets of him, but as I said, what I think is going to happen is like mentions of him. Oh, Batman busted up a drug drop or something like last night in Amusement Mile or wherever in Gotham. If he does show up, like Ginger was saying, like you don't want him to be like at the forefront. You want him to be like a shadow. Like you want it to be like, I think Zam, you said it, from the villain's perspective. You don't want to. Yeah.
Okay. All right, but what about Bruce Wayne?
Ooh.
No.
But he's mostly a recluse in the Batman. So I don't think we will see him. I think that's the reason for that. Like, not for the Penguin, but like
it's hard to get Robert Pattinson in this as well. Like, So.
I think we're gonna at least hear about it because we've got that new drug that's coming in. So I reckon he's gonna disrupt that in some way. Because that's what he did in the Nolan verses. That's what he did in the Flaming Verse. Is like disrupt what the major plan of the villain. So he's definitely going to try and deal with the villain's main source of like crime, which is drug dealing. So I reckon he's going to do something with it. I don't know how big it's going to be, but I reckon it's going to be something where Oswald has to navigate that as well. Because that's a good storytelling tool, is having the Batman disrupt your distribution.
Yeah, I mean that could happen. I mean that'd be bad for Penguin, but I really actually hope he doesn't do that because I don't know, like you want Penguin to succeed in a way, and you don't want Batman to put a halt in his progress. I was going to ask, do you guys think we'll get any more rogues? Because to a degree, the Falcones and the Salvatores, as well as Penguin, they're intertwined and they're part of that rogue gallery anyway. But anyone else?
I was just going to ask,
Sorry.
do you? Well, go, who was that? Was that you, Viz?
Nope.
Oh.
I think it was Gary.
Oh, Gary, do you go ahead?
I personally think it's either going to be Black Mask or it's going to be Ventriloquist we get because they're both tied to like.
Ventriloquist.
I mean,
I hope not. The Ventriloquist wouldn't work in this universe, in my opinion.
Their ventriloquist really only works in the
in
the cartoons.
I do not want.
Be
as much as I like the character, I don't want it. It's a horrible thing. Yeah.
No, I think
Mask maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Black Mask is a good shout. That one's
Scion,
definitely
Sionis.
Yeah, Victor Sars, possibly, maybe Calendar Man.
Yeah, serial killers.
The one that I was going to bring up was: do we think we're going to see any of Harvey Dent?
Oh, that would be a good one.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Like, even if he's just like, like an up and coming lawyer or, running for district attorney, because that's what he was before he, was.
I just don't want him to. I just don't want him to be Two-Face at all. I mean,
no. I don't think they would either. I think, if he becomes Two-Face, maybe they would do it in like the Batman movie, like the third Batman movie, maybe the second. I don't know. But that's what I'm saying is like, do we think maybe they might be setting up for Harvey Dent in the Batman 2 so that we at least.
But all of these characters still need to be like surface level background characters. So everything is this is the Penguin, and I don't want to have subplots where we're focusing on Harvey Dent in the office, trying to run for mayor. These need to be people we see, artificially to a degree, maybe on the television, or maybe the odd Penguin bumps into them once in the blue moon. That's really how we have to see them, and not it's all about the Penguin in the day. Everyone else should be here, here and there, and not seen for several episodes or a season or two.
I agree. Go ahead, Ginger. You were first.
Yeah, just quickly, again, we will see Jim Gordon in this. That's another one we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Partners and all of that kind of stuff. So.
I love that Jim Gordon. Oh my god! Like when I was watching the Batman, I was eating up. Like I love that Jim Gordon.
Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright. He was so good at that.
He's one of those actors. You just stick him in anything, and
they stuck him in What If, and you still hated it. So
I didn't watch What If. I watched a couple episodes and I got bored. So yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like yeah.
But he was the watcher.
It'll be People Hernandez for me. People Hernandez.
Yeah. But I feel like they could definitely get Jeffrey Wright before they would be able to get Robert Pattinson, for sure. At least for an episode. Gaz, I'll come to you in 1 second. Once I think we'll see a flashback of Alan Wayne, a founding member of the Court of Owls. Maybe. I mean,
Is he a cousin or an uncle or something like that?
It's grandfather, isn't it?
yeah, I thought it was his grandfather, but I'm not 100% sure on that one.
Hmm.
Go ahead, Gary. While
Do you reckon they could do like the Long Halloween in this universe, or do you reckon because they killed off Alfonso, that particular arc is over?
No.
Also, they could do Professor Pig as well. That could be an interesting.
No, please no.
Only Professor Pig. I don't think they could do Long Halloween now. I think that's just not going to happen in this universe.
They need to keep it grounded. Look at the Penguin. The only me and Ginger spoke about this before. The only thing that makes him this universe's Penguin is that waddle walk. He's not going. He's not fucking smoking a cigarette out one of those things. No monocle, no top hat, no high society guy. He's a fucking, he's a low tier gangster, and that's it's the walk that makes him Penguin, and his sort of oval shaped physique. That's it. And it's very grounded, and I want the groundedness in this universe. I don't want it to be, overly bizarre. They got to keep it, his feet on the ground.
But here's the thing: is that I don't mind them dipping into the fantastical, and I'm not talking about like magic and all this and aliens and all this other stuff like Superman, but I mean like characters like Mr. Freeze. You know what I mean? Like Mr. Freeze is grounded enough, and it's a good story that you could probably get away with something like that, but they can't just ham it. They can't just be like, oh, well, we'll make it, so that it fits in this world. No, Mr. Freeze kind of has to stick out as like, he almost kind of doesn't belong in this world. Like that's what the standout is the fact that he doesn't stand out, or that he doesn't, that he doesn't fit in.
Anyway, like you don't have to have him like his whole skin being cold. He just has a fucking crazy gun.
Yeah, exactly. I'll make him more like Captain Cold. Maybe I
don't want. Yeah, no, I don't want that. More like, as I said, I think the thing that makes him stand out is that he would be a little bit more of a fantastical villain than. I mean, he doesn't have to walk around like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Loud eyes to see you, Batman. Like.
Yeah. But the thing is, Matt Reeves said that they're not afraid of going down the route because he wanted like Clayface to be a villain.
Yeah,
as well.
It's all about the tone. I think
down that road.
Huh? Clayface is very supernatural.
Yeah, and that's what. Yeah, Clayface is another one that I'm like, see that because the Batman animated show. What was it? Batman, not Brave and the Bold. What was that stupid show called that we shit on and got shit for?
The one that we just watched.
Yeah. What was that one called?
The Cape Stories.
Oh yeah, the Cape Crusader. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, like they were afraid to go almost until like it got bad. Like they were kind of because like the Clayface they brought in was like this old version of Clayface, or the one that like wasn't actually like a clay person. So it's like, yeah, like I don't want that. I don't want that version of Clayface. I would want it's just all in how they set up the tone. I don't want Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze. I want what Patrick Stewart's Mr. Freeze was going to be in Batman and Robin when they were going to make it a more serious tone.
Well, the actor who played, if you want,
that's when Burton was involved.
Yes, that's when Burton was involved.
The actor from Billions who played Yellow Jacket, I think he would make a fantastic Mr. Freeze.
I was just using the Patrick Stewart as an example of the tone.
But I know, but I get you. But I forgot his name. But yeah, I think he's got menacing height and all of that good, and all of that. I think he'd be a good Mr. Freeze.
But again, you can have them in this universe even before he becomes Mr. Freeze.
Yeah,
like it's what him and his wife are there, kind of doing whatever, like helping people during this crisis, and then she gets sick because of when your city's flooded and there's a lot of diseases that kind of float around, and it could play into that.
Killer Croc.
Again, I think they could do it if they. I mean, if they do the tone right, they could do it. I think. But I mean,
I don't want Joker. That's it.
No Joker.
I don't want Joker. Riddler. I mean, he could come and go. We don't know. I wasn't a big fan of the Riddler in this film.
I really liked him. I thought he was great.
I liked the actor. I liked his motives, but I just didn't like the look.
Yeah, no, I get that, but they were also
But
trying to
take
keep the
nothing away. It's still a fantastic film, except for the last act. You know.
yeah. Actually, I kind
but
of like
yeah,
the last act. We can get into that another time, not today, but I actually like the last act, and I'd explain some other time. Okay. Daniel Vance says they hinted at Long Halloween on the calendar following Falcone's visit to Sofia on Halloween. And from behind the scenes, the naked fat suit Colin Farrell was wearing at the end had a penguin-shaped penis.
I want to see
Nice.
it.
I wish
I
we
need
would
to
have
see
seen
it.
it. That would have been amazing.
You don't think Penguin needs a season 2?
Don't think that.
I do.
Go ahead.
I'm already. I just feel like the demand for Colin Farrell to play this role,
that's the
which will
thing.
require.
I don't want it
not
to
an
be
easy
demand.
role.
I want it to be organic. Like Penguin feels organic from the Batman, like
No,
the
no,
movie The
no,
Batman.
sorry, you misunderstood. Like the demand physically on someone like Colin Farrell to play this role, because it's no mean feat to play.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's already stated he hates the fucking suit.
and all
He
of
hates
that,
it.
But he loves the
my-
character, though. He's already said
Yeah,
that.
he loves the character. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
going
can
to be his
understand that.
defining role. It's going to be
It's-
his most defining role.
I think this is the John Travolta moment right now, like for Colin Farrell, because he's been a recognized actor for a while, but honestly, he hasn't got much plaudits recently, and this is really brought him. This is his phoenix from the ashes, in my opinion, for him doing this.
I mean, I'll disagree in the regard that he hasn't done like the big kind of blockbuster stuff, but the stuff he's been working with, what's the name? Like
Well, the same will
Bruges.
go for but I know he's done a lot of stuff like The Lobster and in Bruges, which I like and stuff. But yeah, it's no different to Robert Pattinson. Like after
guys, he was Bullseye in Daredevil. He is set for life, guys. Come on.
Yeah, but they're not roles that are defining to him. Whereas this, definitely.
Yeah. You're right about Heath Slater Penguin in this. I mean,
that was a good interview.
But a lot of people do think that Jack Nicholson's the best Joker, but without a doubt, Colin Farrell. I mean, there's an argument for Danny DeVito as well. I thought he was really good. But
Danny DeVito was phenomenal. Like for me, that he was the defining Penguin at that point in time. But it's still a completely different to what Farrell's Penguin is, and I think for modern generations, he's going to be the defining Penguin.
I mean, that's Tim Burton's Penguin. Like that is 1000% Tim Burton's Penguin. That's why I'm not a huge fan, because sometimes Tim Burton just rubs me the wrong way. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying like it rubs me the wrong way, and I'm like,
like when you look at Danny DeVito and his normal performances, this one was so grandiose that the way he delivers some of the speeches to the people, I was just like, fucking hell. I only realize now that I'm older what a great performance DeVito did as the Penguin. But it's still like just a Penguin within Tim Burton's universe, whereas like Heath Ledger. Yeah, Heath Ledger. When he was cast as the Joker, I think I was one of the few people that was just like, he's actually very versatile. He's going to probably surprise people. A lot of people are like,
I agree.
I hate about you and all this kind of stuff.
For me, it was the look. When I saw the first image of Joker, that big like shadowy look at his face, that is what I was like, oh, I don't like this. I didn't have a problem with Heath Ledger. I was just like, what are they doing with the Joker? And I was wrong. Heath Ledger was a fantastic Joker, and the look was fine. I was wrong.
He's a tall man, and Heath Ledger's a tall man, so little things, the lankiness of him as well. And then obviously I've given the acting performance too. He's great. And regarding Danny DeVito, he pretty much plays the same character in everything he does, other than Batman Returns, where he was somebody totally different, and he showed his acting chops in that film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gary, I think you're unmuted because you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say, I agree with what you're saying, but I'm hoping that this is the only season we get, because if it's a natural end, like he becomes the mod boss, it'd be like, where does the story narrative need to go from there? Because if he's on top of stuff, but if he's still climbing, then definitely do another season because then we've got more story to tell. I think the only thing that I'd be interested more, like how do the villains interact with the world? Like how do they become who they are? Like that would be more interesting if they do like, let's say for example, a season of, I don't know, Mr. Freeze, or a season of
The Scarecrow.
the Scarecrow, something like that.
That would
Just
be
something that they
great.
can get into the psychological understanding, and they cast the right actor for it. Like
I-
Colin Farrell's knocked it out of the park. So like,
I would not mind if they did like a spin-off show called No Man's Land. And I know they kind of did that at the end of the Batman, like that's kind of what they were going for, but like in No Man's Land, Gotham was wrecked. Like it wasn't like a small borough of it was a earthquake that wrecked Gotham. So
Well,
I mean,
kind of similarly touched on it in Harley Quinn series as well.
Yeah. You're right. They did that too. But I would not mind them in this universe, like doing the whole No Man's Land thing in season 2 of Penguin and introducing. The only way I would be okay with them introducing Joker in not in season 1, but in like the second season of Penguin is if they go the mob route where it's like it's a gang war. Joker's a gang boss. Two-Face is a gang boss, or whoever the gang bosses are.
Shit, I'm in.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
But no, not the Joker. Like he's this one-man army that just doesn't care if he gets killed and he just goes around. No. Joker needs to be a mob boss because not like the Penguin. He needs to be starkly different than the Penguin.
Well, we had mob boss Joker, Jared Leto's version. That wasn't too great, was it? But
no,
but
but
down to the bad writing and director.
Yeah, and that was just a bad iteration of Joker. Period.
It's hard to say because like versions like I get it, but one of the things I liked about Joker was that he was an anarchist, and the following people who followed him were cult like. They followed him because he was an anarchist, and I'm not sure if I would like him as a mob boss because he needs to be off the cuff, really crazy.
But they did it so beautifully in Arkham City. Like, think about Arkham City in the game where Joker was a mob boss. Like, if you go around and listen to the conversations of like before you beat the crap out of
the
him,
character, the people,
the thugs are like they're like
I like that
most
Joker.
of them
He's
are
a
with
funny guy.
Yeah, most of them are with Joker because they think he's going to win, not because hey he's a great boss. Like they're like I know I think the Joker's. Or the Joker just like he's basically like, I'll just kill your family if you don't join me or something like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like
it can work. It could definitely work because that the element of chaos within his character could also work in what it does. And it doesn't have to be like an atypical mob boss. It could be just chaos incarnate in that he fucks everything else up for everyone else and gets to run the show through absolute just fear and unpredictability kind of thing. So.
And I look at it maybe like maybe other families like we could have the Al Ghuls as sort of like mob bosses like the Yakuza mob boss. No, but then like they could be but you could obviously you could spin it and there could be like a Yakuza or a I don't know what they're Japanese, aren't they? Because they do ninjas and shit. So they're more like the Yakuza version of the mob.
He's Middle Eastern.
Yes,
but what they represent in martial arts is like the ninja style, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. So like they could be along those particular lines, and obviously we have Black Mask, who's also a mob boss.
Sionis could be another great like instead of introducing Two-Face, you could it could be Joker, Penguin, and Sionis fighting for territory.
And once Two-Face does become Harvey Dent does become Two-Face, I wouldn't mind him being a mob boss either. Total like that's the flip of the coin from lawyer to mob boss. I love it.
But I just don't want them to rush into Two-Face like they do in everything else, like the Dark Knight and in and in the Cape Crusader. Like they rush into this shit.
Well, you could just have him already established as Two-Face. That he's not Harvey Dent. He's already Two-Face.
Yeah, I think they need to establish him in this show. I mean, I feel like
Two-Face and Joker. We don't need to rush into them.
Yeah, no, we do not.
Really
I'm just saying, like, if they did introduce a Joker, that's the way I want him to be introduced. I don't want him to be, like Jared Leto, Heath Ledger, like good or bad. Those are done, and I'm ready for, like, as I said, like the Arkham style Joker that is, more of a mob boss.
But we already got the Joker with what's his name, Barry Keoghan in
Yeah,
Bat-
Barry Kill. Yeah,
Who?
the
Barry
Joker.
Keoghan.
He's by
Yeah,
Barry
if you look
Keoghan.
at deleted, he's in
He
the
was in the
deleted scenes.
Eternals.
No, he was
The mind-
he was in the proper film.
No, I know the Joker's already established. I know he was in Arkham, right, with the Riddler in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be a team up if they both Riddler and Joker get out, and then the Joker uses Riddler to kind of formulate a plan to like take over the Penguins' turf. And anyway, we're talking season 2. This is episode 1 of season 1, for God's sake.
Anyway, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, I was about to say let's wrap. All right, so I don't think we need to rank it. All of us agree that Penguin was fantastic and Agatha was meh. Okay, we all agree.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
everybody out there in YouTube land, thank you very much for joining us. What did you think? Let us know down below. Did you love Agatha more than Penguin? Did you love Penguin more than Agatha like us? What are your thoughts? I'd love to thank Zam, Gigi, Garrett, and Viz for joining us again. Anyone else have anything else they want to tack on here at the end before we go? All right, love having you guys. Love having you out in YouTube land. We are NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you've kind of maybe sort of heard of, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.